Hello, so this is our group. We are from group 24. We will be reviewing on developing a chemical process for optimizing oil extraction from cooking oil secondary waste. So our group members are Wan Aiman Al Mujahid bin Shamuddin, which is me, and Muhammad Afif Haziq bin Sini Rajibuddin, Muhammad Enasir, Muhammad Adam Danish bin Rufu'at, and lastly Wan Harith Rifki bin Wan Mazli. So we will now move on to the second page.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. We are from group 24. Today we will be presenting a research article that focus on the chemical process developed to recover oil from cooking oil waste secondary. Cooking oil secondary waste is a type of waste generated during the collection of used cooking oil. It contains a mix of oil, water and solid material. Unfortunately, if not handled properly, this waste can cause serious environmental problems such as water coagulation or clogged sewer problem. To address this issue, the author of the article aimed to develop a cost-effective and environmentally friendly method to separate oil from this waste. The solution involved the use of polyacrylamide or PAM and aluminum sulfate or alum through a process called coagulation or flocculation. This method not only helps reduce waste pollution but also recover valuable oil which can be used especially in the production of biodiesel. Overall, this research supports global effort in sustainable waste management and promote the concept of circular economy.
Let's start with why this matters. Cooking oil secondary waste, what researchers call COSW, is a messy environmental problem. Picture this: it's 53% oil but also contains sludge and water, and just 1 liter of it can contaminate up to a million liters of water, such as polluting an entire Olympic swimming pool with a single bottle of waste. So the big goal here: extract the trapped oil efficiently so we can turn waste into biodiesel instead of an ecological hazard. The team's hypothesis was simple: combine two chemicals, polyacrylamide, called PAM, and aluminum sulfate or alum, to break down stubborn oil-water emulsions. Now how did they test this? They took real COSW from Iran's waste collection hubs and ran two phases of experiments. First, quick pre-tests showed that cationic PAM worked far better than other types. We're talking 88% versus 43% oil recovery. That's a game changer. Then came the deep dive: 30 control trials using advanced modeling software. They tweaked four key variables: temperature, mixing time, and concentrations of both PAM and alum. They systematically tested different combinations of variables, adjusting concentrations, temperatures, and mixing times, then validated every result with statistical analysis to ensure precision.
Now we'll be moving on key outcomes and critical implication. So over maximum 82% oil recovery was achieved at 74 degree with 6,322 ppm cationic. And this validating the model's 85% prediction. Temperature and additive concentration accounted for 89% of efficiency variance, while mixing time showed negligible impact. So the critical constraints include three part, which is unassessed ecotoxicity of residual acrylamide in wastewater. Second, economic infeasibility of high active doses without cost-benefit analysis. And lastly, limited scalability due to absence of industrial turbulence pressure variables. So the global significance and future directions. The study demonstrated viable, via, via, viable oil recovery but reveals environmental trade-off. The future research must do devel- develop biodegradable flocculants to replace PAM, integrate pre-treatment with acid-catalyzed transesterification for high FFA biodiesel conversion, conduct pilot-scale trials with full waste valorization, as example anaerobic digestion of biosolids, and address applicability in Global South regions with high UCO volumes but limited treatment infrastructure.
Hello there, I'm Afif, and I'm going to explain about the critical elements about our article that we have reviewed. So we have six elements. So the first element is the research and design methods. So the strengths is the authors used an experimental design with something called as response surface methodology, or as known as RSM. This is a smart way to test multiple factors like temperature, chemical amount, and mixing time efficiently. The problem is that the paper doesn't say if the tests were repeated or how they handled errors, which makes it hard to tell how reliable the results actually are. Alright, so the second element is sampling and generalizability. Alright, so the researchers used cooking oil, secondary waste, or as known as COSW, samples only from one collection site in Iran. So this is a limitation because cooking oil waste can vary depending on the country or industry. So we don't know if the method will work as well in other places. And the third element is data analysis and interpretations. The authors used statistical models like analysis of variance, ANOVA, and regression, which is a good choice for analyzing optimization studies. Uh, One strong point is their R2 value, which is the coefficient of determination, uh, which was 96%, that shows the model fit the data really well. However, they didn't report confidence intervals, and some variables like retention time weren't statistically significant, but they didn't really explain that. And the fourth element is the environmental and ethical constraints. So the study promotes sustainability but overlooks possible chemical risks. But there's also there's also the problems. So they used polyacrylamide, which is the PAM, which can degrade into acrylamide, a harmful and possibly cancer-causing compound. And there's also no mention of how the leftover chemicals are managed or disposed of. Alright, so the fifth element is the contribution to scientific knowledge and innovation. So in this element, there's three things, which is positive points and limitations, missed opportunity. So in the positive points, the study provides a clear systematic method to recover oil from COSW. Uh, it shows that using PAM and aluminum sulfate, which is known as LM, can lead to over 80% oil recovery, which is promising for biodiesel production. The limitations of the methods, which is the coagulation and flocculation, are not new, and they have already been used in wastewater treatment. Also, the innovation lies more in the application to cost W, not in creating a new technique. So the missed opportunity is the study didn't compare its method with other technologies like enzymatic oil recovery, membrane filtration, uh, biological treatment methods, and lastly, the element six is reporting clarity and scientific value. The study is well structured, but there are some issues like some diagrams and graphs are confusing or not well explained. The conclusion also missed out on future suggestions or acknowledging the study's limitation, Overall, their method has value, but the writing and visuals could be improved, and comparisons with other techniques would make it more scientifically impactful. And that's my section. I'm Afif. Thank you.
So, in conclusion, the article by Nara and Shah Passan explores a chemical treatment methods to recover oil from cooking oil secondary waste, with the aim of supporting biodiesel production and sustainable waste management. The research is commendable because it used well-structured experiments and statistical optimization, achieving a high oil recovery rate. However, there are notable weaknesses, such as sampling from only Iran, lack of replication details, and insufficient discussion on the applicability of findings to other contexts. The study also overlooks environmental risks associated with PAM and alum residues, which raises questions about its sustainability claims. Despite this issue, the article makes an important contribution to waste valorization research and highlights the need for future works, including including scaling up experiment, conducting life cycle assessment, and exploring greener separation technologies. Thank you.